Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm very good. And yourself?
I'm good, yeah.
How's it been, healing here at the camp after such, crazy action of what you experienced at the Freedom Village?
Oh, it's been amazing here. Like, honestly, my heart feels full again, Louis. But, yeah, it's been amazing. Yeah.
What are some of the big takebacks from what you experienced, good or bad, in terms of, just something that you wouldn't have imagined in your whole life bringing back from that place?
From Parliament?
Yes, from the Freedom Village.
So, first day, so proud to be a New Zealander, standing there with all these beautiful people, different walks of life, just average Kiwis. And then to the last day, that was heartbreaking on every level for all of us that had been at the Freedom Village and watch it build into a beautiful community in 3 weeks, where everyone had a purpose in place and helped each other. And then we go to end day, and half of those people that were there I'd never even seen before. And, standing there on the front line with those particular police that were there as well was totally different energy. They didn't want to talk to us. They didn't want to make eye contact. They didn't want to serve the people, the public, And we'd all been with those police. Those police were different to the ones that we had talked to on the first day. They didn't want to engage. They didn't have eye contact. They were there to do a job. I think the saddest part for me was watching the innocent people. There were trouble. Like I said, there was 50% of people that I'd never seen before. The energy was different. And I remember getting shoved in the front line by someone, a big Samoan guy, and when I grabbed him and said, look, this is not, we're standing here in peace, he was like, fuck off. And I was like, wow, it's time for me to go. That's not why I'm here, or part of what I want is, it doesn't need to escalate into violence. But I guess, when you're pepper spraying 80-year-old people and people that I'd stood with on the first front line that had lost their whole jobs, their livelihoods, people are losing their homes, and then to get pepper sprayed for that, I'm just at a loss as to how we heal from that, how these people heal from that. And the disappointing thing for me is such division, in every community. It has caused such huge division. Friendships, families, all the things that are breaking down because I'm just watching this corporate greed grow bigger and bigger and stronger, and I'm watching the community level drop down, and I'm like, where are we heading, New Zealand? Where are we actually going? Do we want to be run by corporate greed, or do we want to be helping the people of our country, which we haven't been doing for so long, right?
Well, that's basically my next question, is where do you see the future heading if nothing changes, and the consequences of that too?
I'm unsure as to where our country would head if we continue to behave the way we are and not take care of all of these horrific things that are happening in our society. There's no help for anybody. Our mental health system has been failing for so long. There's no help for anybody. The people that I stood with on the first day, a lot of them were mental health nurses, counsellors. They're standing on the front line, all losing their careers. Where are we moving forward unless all the mandates are dropped? But even after the mandates are dropped, do we get our jobs back? Because of the division that's been created.
Do you want to go back to that workplace?
No, probably not. No, because of that division. You know, that never should have been created in our country. It's heartbreaking that families have turned on each other because of choice. You know, how do you go back from there? I'm uncertain. You know, like, I feel like our whole government structure has been so broken for so long. There's been no help for so long for a lot of society, communities. And that's what's really concerning for me, is how do we move forward? And that's a big question that I think needs to be talked about and discussed, you know. Like, I had a great conversation with the police on the first day and said to them, you know, like, do you think a lot of these men that are unemployed on the dole, young men, do you think they want to be there? No. But they don't fit into a 9-to-5 society job. You know, they're releasing another big drop of 1080. I think there should be programs where these young men go out with police officers and hunt our land. You know, the damage that 1080 does to the land, poisoning the waterways. You know, I don't even understand how we have dead rivers in New Zealand. You know, where does that come from? Why are we not looking after the land? Why is this land of our Aotearoa country not protected, purified, looked after, and why are we not working with it? Same as the police. I know they have certain programs set up to take young men, troubled young kids out, doing those things, but there needs to be way more of that stuff. They're not going to go to work and work a 9-to-5 job. You know, it's like the Vikings. They're hunters, they're gatherers. They don't fit society. They don't want to be in a 9-to-5 job. That's why we have huge unemployment rates. That's why we have all these young men thinking they have no purpose. They do. But it's not the purpose of what the Crown and corporate greed wants. We could be a really wealthy country if we were hunting possum fur. You know, Brett Power, he used to run a tantalising firm in Taranaki and employed lots of young men. Why were these places shut down? You know, what are we doing? We could be hunting deer, we could be selling venison meat. It's so expensive, but yet we want to poison the land. You know, and I think that was a big thing for me on the last day, was watching the police attack all the amazing people that were there on the first day, that have done so much in their communities. They've nursed us. They've helped with our mental health. You know, they're builders, they're engineers, they're all these amazing people with so many years' experience, and now we've lost them all. You can't replace that. It's irreplaceable. And then to watch police pepper spraying those people, like an 80-year-old man fell into my arms, literally being pepper sprayed. That was so traumatising for me. Watching an elderly man with his burning face, blind, vulnerable, not being able to see, like, that was so traumatic to watch. And then it was one after the other coming down the line being pepper sprayed. What were they doing? You know, where is the compassion? Where was the contract that you signed to protect those people? You weren't attacking the ones that were causing trouble. You were attacking the innocent people and the victims that have lost their livelihoods. That is totally heartbreaking for me to witness. It proved to me that they're working for a corporation and they don't work for us. So their contract should be void.
Totally.
You know, and this is what...
It's the point of the contract, isn't it?
That was the point of your contract. And that is what concerns me, is where do we move forward with our police that I have no trust in anymore. You know, I have no trust in this government that has done nothing to help our people. at all, you know?
Yeah.
For me, as a grandmother, I am so concerned about my grandchildren and their future and their children's future. We can't keep poisoning the land. We can't keep ignoring the problems that we have in this country. We can't keep sweeping this under the carpet. It has to be addressed on every level. We have to address the problems that have been going on for years, you know, and the division that we've now created in we live in the most diverse country in the world. We have amazing people living here with so much heart. I thought we had heart, and I thought we had free thinkers. But everyone seems to just be agreeing with one person, and she's not right. And she doesn't have heart or empathy for our country because none of the real problems are being addressed, right? Our mental health is not okay. It wasn't okay long before this. You know, I'm a hairdresser, so I've talked to people for years. I've talked to clients that have had children on suicide watch. Why are we having young girls wanting to commit suicide from the age of 12 and up? You know,
especially in a nation that's meant to be the land of the free and the perfect nation, right?
That's it. Like, where is this coming from? Why are we all comparing ourselves to each other? Why are we not putting each other's crowns on and not knocking them off? You know, that's what's happening. We're knocking them off. We're not helping each other. And it's really sad for me to watch such destruction in our country, and so quickly. In the last 2 years, you know, we've done such a flip. It's like a turning point of our history with New Zealand. This is not our beautiful land of the free anymore. You know, it's dictatorship. It's such, you know, like, when do we offer out a voucher to a child to go and get a vaccination?
Never.
It's coercion on every level, but no one's looking at it like that, and that's what's frightening for me. Of course a 12-year-old's going to accept a $100 voucher because that's like $1,000 to a 12-year-old, you know? That's so wrong. But are we looking at it from that perspective? I don't think anybody is. We're just believing the narrative. And that's frightening. You know, that for me, that is frightening. That we're not actually looking at relevant information. We're taking one voice as the truth, you know. Problems don't get solved with one person. They get solved in a community. And we proved that at the Freedom Village, right? In 3 weeks, we created such a beautiful, safe environment where everyone was loved and taken care of. But on the 3rd week, there was a lot of bickering and fighting between, you know, for religion, iwi, all the things. And to me, that's not oneness. That's not community. That's not everyone standing together. We need to let go of all of that. You know, community is where it is at. When we all stop fighting and put our cards on the table and say, okay, these are all the problems that need to be addressed. This is what we're going to do. We're going to hunt the land instead of poisoning it. We're not going to kill our rivers anymore. We're going to take care of this precious place that we live in. And we can do that. We can set up community living and gardenings and all the things, and we can, you know, rehabilitation centres are where we need to be looking for a future for our mental health. Our education system, like, that needs a total overhaul. You know, if we have teen suicide, where's it coming from? Schools, what they're learning, social media, all these things need to be addressed. You know, it's not okay that this is happening in my country. Like, I am feeling broken that this is happening. And no one wants to talk about the real things, the drugs, the alcoholism, all of the things that are ruining our society on every level.
Yeah.
You know, where's the love?
Yeah.
Where's the mana?
100%.
You know, that's what we have,
Yeah.
and we can bring it back.
Yeah. We have to. There's no other way, right?
We don't have an
Yeah.
option anymore,
Yeah.
right? We
Yeah.
don't have an option. So,
Yeah.
you know, but how do we get to talk to the right people is the thing, and how do we make people understand that we can't keep being divided? We are the people. We are the people of beautiful New Zealand, no matter where you're from, no matter what religion you are, no matter what iwi you are. We all need to respect our country and everybody in it. It doesn't matter where you're from. I don't care. Come talk to me. I'll give you a hug and tell you that I love you and we can work through this, because I know we can. I know we can. We've got so many powerful people that can change things and make it right.
Yeah.
And we can guide each other along the way and communicate that. But there's been no communication from the Crown or the corporate companies that are taking all our money and not doing anything good with it. They're just taking taxes. And our cost of living keeps rising, and the poor are going to get poorer. There's going to be no mediocre. It'll be here and here. Segregated society. Totally wrong. Totally wrong way to go about this.
And the traffic light system is just the beginning of it.
Well, that's exactly right. It is. It is the beginning. You know, it's the same as China. They're already doing it. You know, they've been living like that for years. You know, I met a powerful Chinese lady down there, and she was saying on the first day, like, do you not understand where this is heading? And I do. I've seen it. And that just confirmed that this is exactly where we're heading. And that is even more scary, right? We don't want to live in a society where we're living on a point system, and if you're good or bad, you're here or you're here. That's not okay. We all have a purpose here, and each and every one of us are important.
And the only way to bring it back up is through free slave labour.
Yeah, no thanks. Yeah, no, it's not okay. I'm not slave labour to anybody. Yeah, that's soul destroying, right? We've all worked so hard to get where we are, and now with this new system coming in, because I don't want to go by what our government's saying, I could lose everything. I could lose my home, my business. They could take that from me. It's not a case of losing it, is it?
No.
It's a case of they will come in and take it.
Stealing.
Yeah. Which is what already happens, you know, like the first lockdown. I think I remember a story about a doctor who they took his land and they were going to put a road through there, and he had to fight them while he's helping everyone with COVID in hospital. The government's stealing his land while he's at work. That's not okay. And now they think they can do that to us as well.
While he's paying the taxes to make them run.
Taxes, while he's healing the people, while, you know, and now you're going to do that to everybody, and you're just going to take their houses because we need to pay back your debt. Okay, no thank you.
Yeah.
Because that's all that's about, right? We're going to take your house to pay your debt. Oh, we might take your KiwiSaver too, to pay back the debt that the Crown created, not by my choice.
Yeah.
That was on them.
What's your one message from here in New Zealand, maybe to the rest of the nation or to the rest of the world about this current thing?
Please stop the division. Please start listening to each other. You know, we all have heart. The biggest thing for me is find your empathy, find your compassion, and find your forgiveness for the people that you love. Because if you don't, I don't know how we move forward. You know, we have to love each other, and we've got to find the love in our hearts. And for me, I think the biggest journey that and the lesson that I've learnt is empathy and compassion for everybody through this. It's, you know, And now we're going to have to rebuild. We're really going to have to rebuild as a country, bigger and stronger and better, and not controlled by corporation and by governments that are not serving us. They actually haven't served us for so long. You know, like I've watched a gap in 30 years grow bigger and bigger, and I don't want to do that anymore. We can move forward. We need to find the love in our hearts, and we need to find empathy for each other, and we can create change. I want to create change, and we can do that.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Louie. I love you.
Love you too.
What's up, I'm Terrell. I'm Louie.